Hi music lovers, Cat with Hats here. I'm in Oxnard, California, and I'm visiting DW and the DrumChannel. I'm very happy to be standing next to the founder, Don Lombardi.
Thank you, and I'm excited to be here with Cat with Hats.
Back in 1972, Don opened up a little teaching studio in Santa Monica, and he called it Drum Workshop, but you were just teaching, right?
Yes, yeah, I started teaching at a very early age. I was about 18 when I started playing professionally, and I started teaching the same time, and loved teaching and education, and was fortunate to be able to study with some really good teachers at an early age myself. So for many years, I played for about 20 years professionally, making a living as a musician, and teaching as part of my career at the same time. After starting Drum Workshop meaning seminars, like educational classes, I had the opportunity about 6 or 7 years later, in the later 70s, 77, 78, to buy the tooling, dies, and molds from a small American company that was called Camco. Mm-hmm. And their most popular product that all of the pro drummers were playing was their pedal, the Camco pedal. Mm-hmm. It was the smoothest, fastest pedal back in those days. It was my favorite pedal, all my friends. Okay. So when I had the opportunity to buy the company and make these pedals, I thought that would be a very cool hobby. And I would still play, of course, and I would make this as my little hobby. And the cool thing about the pedal, back when I first purchased it, is it was the first pedal that had a chain and sprocket on it. And that was a patent by a friend of mine. And that kind of took it from being a nice jazz pedal to holding up for the rock players, because now people are playing much heavier in the later 70s. Mm-hmm. So basically we started with this pedal, and then we turned it into the Model 5000 DW pedal, because that was the model number of the Camco pedal. Mm-hmm. So I thought we would keep the same number, but just change the name of the company that actually made it. So that was the beginning of manufacturing. I always loved teaching, and as you get busy manufacturing drums, we did a lot of education, but it's really two different things, you know. So I finally wanted to get back into education almost full time, and that's when we started DrumChannel, which I have as a completely separate company. I don't care what drums you play. If you want to show drummers how to do something, how you're doing, what you're doing, we love to have you on DrumChannel.
So let's take a step backwards. You built DW together with John Good?
Yes. When I started the teaching studio back in 1972, a couple years after that, a young drummer walked in and said he wanted to take more lessons, and that was John Good. I met John. I had a few inventions then, an adjustable trap case seat for drummers to sit on where you could adjust the height of it and still store your things inside. Back in those days, the stands were small enough you could put them inside a seat. Mm-hmm. Now we brought that all back again. Everything comes back around, right? Mm-hmm. Popular again, very light hardware. And we're going to be introducing that seat again next year, but don't tell anybody. That'll be kind of a secret. So that's okay if you tell a few people. John was my student, and he helped me starting to make seats, because I was too busy to do that with teaching and playing. And that's how we began to work together as kind of a little manufacturer, just, you know, in the garage. And when we started making pedals, we started doing the same thing. Little did I expect it would grow year by year by year by year by year. Finally, we would decide to make drums. And that was really in the middle or late 1980s. Mm-hmm. It was about 10 years later where we seriously said, let's make drum sets and see how that goes.
And it's always been your goal to make drumming easier for the drummers, to make products that help drummers to play better. So what's behind the DrumChannel? What's your aim there?
DrumChannel is just taking a look at the best way that you could possibly get to as many drummers as possible with as much information as possible. I love the excitement teaching one-on-one, where you can work with a drummer and mentor him and go over, and if he's doing something a little bit different than you want, you can grab his hands and show him exactly how to do it, because it's such a physical instrument. But I've been blessed through all these years to be able to have a relationship and friendship with so many great drummers, and to see them like we're standing here. I mean, I could see exactly what they're doing, you know, and it was always exciting for me to show somebody else, see how he's doing that? Maybe you should try it like this or like that a little bit. It's a very personal thing, the way you play the drums. And as you know, it's a very interesting instrument. You can be a very musical drummer and not have as much technique as a very technical drummer. Today, to compete, you almost have to have both, and percussion and writing and arranging and producing, and you need to do everything in the music business to be successful today. I wanted to follow which was one of my bigger passions and still is today. Just like we did with the pedal at the beginning, I think, I wanted to make something good for my friends because I knew that was the best. And just like you do when you're doing this interview, you want to share it with people out there.
Yeah.
Same passion.
Yeah, and thank you for that. So can we have a look at the drum channel?
Sure. Let's go over and we'll look at our big room and look into the studio right now.
All right, let's do that.
So here we are at DrumChannel. We're in the control room here. This is where a lot of the magic happens. Of course, I'm at the audio desk, and we have a whole video desk where we have 8 full HD cameras that we can shoot with, and then we have the larger control room where we have all the bands come, and that's where the teachers hang out and where we do our lessons and have so much fun. So I started developing the site back in 2007. Spent 2 or 3 years working on it, working with some developers, and then we launched the site more in 2010 full-time. During the time we were developing it, I also put out several DVDs because I had all these great instructors up here, and they had such great content. We were breaking it up into individual lessons, into what we call Secrets from the Pros, which are little short 5-7 minute segments that you can see. What I was excited about, and I mentioned earlier, we're not in the room with you to go over and see exactly how you're doing it, but I thought the next best thing would be to develop a player, which we have on DrumChannel, where we have 5 what we call switches, but there's 5 different cameras that you can choose to pick, or content on the same subject. So if a drummer is doing something and you can't quite figure it out, you could just watch the bass drum the whole time, or you can watch the overhead, or you can see a slow motion version of it. So if you guys play a little bit, and girls, I hope there's a lot of women out there playing drums right now, then you could probably copy what he's doing. But if you're beginning, it might be like really difficult for you. So you might want to really slow it down. Maybe it takes a week for you to get it, maybe 2 weeks, but the important thing is that you get it and then you've improved your playing. Because that's what DrumChannel is all about, is to really help you improve either what you're doing on the drum set or to gain more confidence. That's why we do the shows. Sometimes you can learn more from hearing a drummer talk than actually seeing him do what he does. Because what he tells you is why he's doing it. And then they'll go, oh, okay, maybe I wasn't thinking of it that way. That's why it wasn't sounding quite as good. So a lot of the lessons that we have on the show, besides the instructional lessons, come to you from a lot of the shows and the interviews and the roundtables we have. One of the first artists, and still a huge artist here on DrumChannel, we call him our artist in residence, is Terry Bozio. Terry was here, and when he's in town, he's here with me almost every day giving lessons, along with some great educators. At the very beginning, we have a lot of technique and independence classes with Joe Porcaro, Ralph Humphrey. I think Cat in the Hat had some lessons from Joe Porcaro and Ralph Humphrey back in her early days also, so she knows who I'm talking about. So again, the idea is if you're really serious and you're practicing out there, you're going to get seriously better.
If I'm a beginning drummer, do you have directions for me, or am I left alone with those 800 plus videos?
If you're a beginning drummer, and actually anybody can play drums. I know you're sitting out there saying, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, and I don't have the coordination to do it and everything. But that's not true, because it's not really about coordination. It's about independence. You learn as you do it over a period of time how to hear something and then reproduce that sound. And if you're a beginning drummer, you go into our master classes, and we have several series of classes for people that have never played before. One of my favorites is Chad Smith, the drummer with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, How to Play Drums Chad's Way. And it starts out with 3 very, very super basic drum lessons. 3 basic beats, 3 basic fills for beginning drummers. Even before that, there's lessons we have with other teachers on the site, how to prepare and learn how to hold the sticks and just get 2 or 3 beats in a row. The key to Chad's lesson is, in his master class, is that he not only shows you how to play those beats, but if you're an advanced drummer, you still want to look at that lesson, because then you have to learn how he sounds so good at playing those beats. It's not just doing it, it's what behind the scenes that makes it really feel so good. So there's a lot of little tricks in those lessons too for you. Yes, if you're a beginning drummer and you've never played before, you can start out right from, I got my drum set, There's lessons on how to tune your drums. That's something drummers have a hard time with. We have great lessons on how to tune your drum set with Greg Bissonette and how to play your very first rock beats.
Joining the Drum Channel is very affordable. It starts with $8 a month, I think.
As far as joining DrumChannel, we're looking for just getting your support so we can keep doing what we're doing. It's very, very affordable. If you get an annual subscription, it's only $8 a month. And the idea is that you're supporting us just like you would support a public television station so that we can use those funds to do more for you. The more whereabouts we have in order to generate income from subscribers, the more we can bring people in from all around the world and do other real cool things, which we do now as much as we possibly can. And I mean, one of the main reasons we offer it at such a low rate is because we want it to be in adjunct. We want it to be in addition to the private instruction that you're actually taking. So it would just be like having the coolest book of all time that you can go on to and see hundreds of drummers talking about what they're doing, learning about what they're doing. And when teachers give you your lesson, and then they say, okay, we're learning how to read this week, Johnny or Jeanette, and so I'm showing you how to read quarter notes, but also go into DrumChannel to Joe Piccaro's reading lesson number 2, and then when we come back next week, let's play those exercises. Problem is you have no way to forget. You can't say, I didn't remember what you told me, because every night you can go home and see somebody online, some of the best drummers in the world online, playing what you're supposed to be doing, which is a great way to kind of take your teacher home with you, and then when you go back, he'll make every improvements that you need and then show you what you're going to be doing for the next week. So very excited about all the teachers who use DrumChannel as a tool as part of their weekly instruction.
Okay, guys and girls out there, thank you very much, Don, for all the info, for the little tour.
Thank you very much. You're welcome here anytime.
I would love to come back and see the other part of this building, the DW grounds.
Yes, yeah. And when we're action here, next time when we have somebody out here performing and teaching,
oh, yes,
come out and get a little behind the scenes for everybody watching.
I would love to. So check out drumchannel.com, see and learn.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.